So this is the Behringer XR18. Now they have an XR12, XR16, XR18. Depending on what you need, you could spend less and everything else. I think this is in the $600 range. So if you've ever wanted to have like a mixer, but you figured, why do I need all this hardware? I could just run it on my iPad. Well, yes, you can. Now Mackie came out with one. Mackie was like the first one to do this.
I used Mackie for years.
And that was cute. It was cute. Yeah. But this is a real mixer that is, there is no artifice of like, we're going to put something in there to make it look old or whatever. It is just like, it's a rack mount and you can just plug everything into it. You've got 6 aux outs. You've got, in this case, 18
What's the antenna for?
Because it's Wi-Fi. So what you can do with that Wi-Fi, of course, is open up your iPad.
You can control it
and
with
you
your
run
iPad?
everything with your iPad. Now, the great thing is that can be a little scary. Like, what if you're in a big event and you don't want to run that? It actually, you can still hook it up to Ethernet and still log into it with the Behringer app. When we have a lot of Behringer Midas boards.
Behringer
like
has not always been this great at sound quality.
Fun. So here's the deal. We used to make fun of Behringer.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like
it's kind of a
crap.
It was inexpensive, but not
inexpensive and not great at all. Not even not great, not good. In fact, horrible.
Okay.
You know, so like, you know, like we would never buy a Behringer until, so then they bought Midas. Now Midas have the best preamps in the world. Oh. So they bought Midas. Good upgrade. And with that, now there's some Midas boards. We have a bunch of Midas boards, and then there's Behringer boards. And the Midas boards are pretty much interchangeable, except for the fact that they both have the Midas preamps. The Midas boards have a little bit more in them, and so we've got a bunch of those. But the big thing here is that they also added what's called now they say it's based on Dan Dugan's auto mixing. It's not Dan Dugan, the Dan Dugan auto mixer, because that was a big, I think, a legal issue. Based on. So Dan Dugan is this kind of genius that created this auto mixing. So if you have 3 people sitting around or 6 people sitting around a table, what it does is it intelligently goes, that person's talking, and I'm not gonna gate everybody. I'm just gonna push all the other mics down. And if you look at, you know, it is like we don't do an event with multiple mics without a Dugan mix somewhere in the thing. So
it's fast enough when somebody starts talking, it picks it up.
Well, and it does it softly. It does it naturally. So you're not doing this mix up and down. Yeah. It just softly keeps all of the volume the same when one person starts to talk.
18 mic channels. You can do a massive event. We should buy one of these. Wait a minute, though.
Yeah,
you said it was expensive.
This is like $600 or $700. It's not.
For a mixer, that's cheap, really.
It's cheap. It's cheap. Most of our mixers are $3,000 and above. Yeah. So this is like great. This is my personal mixer. So that's what I'd say is that we have a lot of mixers in the office.
Can I carry it in my purse? Because that's really my new criterion.
No, you can't.
I can take the Loom Cube in my purse.
You can put it in a Rush 24 if nothing else was in there, you know. So, but it's you know, you can see the size. It's big. Yeah. It's like this big.
It's a mixer. It's actually a rack mount mixer.
But if you're looking for this is my personal the one that I'm going to be using on in my own little studio in my house.
Look at that.
And we've got
that is really cool.
It's super nifty. I mean, when you think back on all the days that
this would have been so great 10 years ago.
Yeah,
would have changed my life.
Yeah, it's nifty.
Wow.
You know, and Marty Brennis, who works with us at the office, was he's got one. He uses it on shows all the time. I think he's got the 18, but there's also smaller ones. So if you think that's too much, and you can get the cool thing is, I think the 12 is even 1U. I mean, they get smaller.
Yeah, because really, you don't want a podcast with 18 people.
Well, no, but you might have. The thing to remember, though, is a lot of times you have, well, what if we have other audio inputs?
What do we take on the road now for our stuff? Do we have anything like this? We have We still have the analog Mackie. Yeah.
And we can't really work with analog anymore. Like we do so much stuff in ours, whether it's compression, the auto mix, like you're not going to get an auto mix with a analog. And once you get used to an auto mix, you cannot go back. You know, we had to make a choice recently between the auto mix and a cedar noise removal, and we went with the auto mix because it made a bigger difference. And so because there's so much phasing that goes on between mics and stuff, not like this because these mics are so have such good off-axis rejection. But anyway, it's a little geeky, but
I would have killed to have this in the day.
It's cool.
Back in the day when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's cool.
I still have kind of a fetish for audio stuff. I probably shouldn't.
I do. It's a very expensive fetish.
It's a bad habit.
I won't recommend the other one that we think is really cool, which was I will recommend it, but I will not say that everyone should have one. We bought a Cedar DNS 8, which is above what I'd recommend because it starts to get into a cheap car. But it just removes all the echo and all the noise around you, and it's magical.
Expensive. This is $700 Amazon Prime.
And that's a 16. Now there's 12.
I could get a 12, which would be like $250.
Yeah, $250 for.
Is that the same?
It's the same interface. It's just 12? Less inputs, less outputs.
Well, it only looks like 4 mic inputs.
Yeah, 4 mic inputs. So it's a little short. And then there's also a 16.
Need more than 4?
The 16.
How often do I hear that? Don't buy anything, Leo. But I want the Dugan style auto mixing. It's revolutionary.
It is.
And I've bought everything so far on this show. Every pick.
You can have it.
I could go 100%.
But there's a 16. Look at the XR16.
It's only $215.
Look at the XR16.
The 16 is better because
it's between the two. So if the 12 doesn't have quite enough mic inputs, like for
this is only $400 for the 16.
And now you have, I think,
how many is that? Look at that. That's 8. No. Yeah, 8.
8 mic inputs there.
And then aux inputs. And then if you had could you mix a band with this?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, absolutely.
See, this is what we need when we have live studio, don't we?
Absolutely.
So why did you say don't get it? Because you want to get it.
Amazon Prime, right? We can buy it a week before we need it.
It is Amazon Prime, $400. But now we could get used to it, and I could play with it at home.
It's great.
Sold. All right, I've now bought everything you guys picked, so stop it.